Hello, babes. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Alyssa Love. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. We talk about all things woo-woo, including spiritual weight loss, divine feminine embodiment, and the magic of your menstrual cycle. So today we're going to be talking about our womb spaces and why it's important to connect to this space and how to do it. Okay, so our wombs are literally these like magical portals that we have in our bodies. Like it's like this physical representation of the ability that we have to create, the ability that we have to birth life, to bring something from nothing, right? Our wombs kind of represent this dark feminine energy. And when I say dark, I don't mean like bad or evil. But when we're talking about like the feminine energy, it's actually the energy of darkness, right? Whereas the masculine energy is the energy of light. So it's like the yin and the yang. So in this darkness, this represents like the void, right? The emptiness, the space, which is also seen as potential, right? If you think about just like the room you're in right now, there's space that's being taken up by plants or chairs, objects, and then there's this space in between those things. And that space is what holds potential, right? So if you had a room that was literally filled like to the brim of stuff, right? You know, a lot of people have like a junk room, or like maybe you don't have a whole room, maybe you have like a junk drawer, right? Or totally have one, to be real. But it's kind of like where you just throw all the things that maybe you should get rid of, but you're just not quite there yet. The things you don't know where to put, the things that you want to have like out of sight, out of mind. And our wombs kind of become our energetic junk drawer, unfortunately, right? This space is like this space within a woman that we haven't been taught, at least in like modern society and in most people's lives, we haven't been taught how to access the power of our womb space. And because of the way that women are kind of taught to show up and express and be in the world, we push a lot of stuff down and it gets stored in this space. So imagine that junk drawer or that junk room that you have, or that closet that's just like full of junk, right? The more you pile it full of things, the less you're able to be creative, right? So if you had like a art studio, but you started to pile junk in it, how are you going to create art in there, right? How are you going to have the space to create new things, to be inspired in there, to feel the flow of energy when you're in there? You're probably not. Like, it's really hard to. Same with like a junk drawer. If you have it like full of things, it's hard to even open and close it. It's hard to find things in there. It's hard to let it be used for what it's meant to be used for, right? And the same thing goes for our wombs. If we are constantly pushing all of our energetic junk in there, then it's hard for us to access the power that we have within this space, right? And that power is the power to create, the power to birth life, whether that's human life, whether that's projects, businesses, art, our expression, our interaction with people. Like it all comes from here, right? And there's this deep wisdom that we hold within this space, because when it's clear and when it's open and when there's this flow in it, this is our portal from the divine, from source, into our 3D human form, right? Where does your inspiration come from? Where does creativity come from? Where do these ideas come from, right? When you're in that flow and you're so connected to source and your higher self, to God, to the divine, whatever it is you want to call it, when you're so connected like that, you receive these uploads, right? And this comes from your womb space, these uploads of inspiration, of creativity, of new ideas. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from the womb space. So not only is it important for us to connect with this space and to create a relationship with this space, but it's also really important for us to keep it clean and keep it clear and keep the flow in there, right? So we're going to do a little like Marie Kondoing of our womb space, a little like energetic clean out. And so what's really important to recognize is that the kind of energy that we store in there most often is the energies of fear, of shame, of guilt, of worry, anxiety, right? And this is the energy that becomes heavy and becomes dense and creates like this cloudiness around our ability to be in our creativity and be in our sensuality and be in our feminine power, right? So if we're pushing all of these things down into our womb space, it's going to create this heaviness, right? And that can manifest as so many different things. It can manifest as excess weight. It can manifest as energetic blocks. It can manifest as feeling very like heavy or lethargic, not being motivated, not being able to focus on projects or things that are important to you, right? There's so many different things that it can manifest as. So what we get to do is go from just unconsciously storing these things within our womb space, and we get to move into this space of consciously digging out all that gunk, right? You know, like it's like with anything, if you are constantly cleaning your house, you know, maybe you have like a weekly little cleanup or even daily things that you do to clean your house and keep it clean. It's really easy to do, right? It doesn't take a long time. You're probably not going to sweat. You're probably not going to have to like cancel your whole weekend plans. But if you let things build up for a long time, you might have to hire a cleaning crew. You might need to call in a little assistance or at least really take your time. And it might be challenging. It might be a little bit of a struggle. So the same thing goes with your womb space. If you haven't given it any attention, if you haven't been consciously tuning in with it and connecting with your womb space, clearing out the gunk, right? Working with your cycle to release the things that are coming up, right? If you haven't been doing that, then initially it might feel like a little bit of a chore, but I promise you, it is so worth it. It is so worth doing that energetic cleanup, right? Whether you do that with me in a session, whether you do that on your own or with someone else, take the time to do that work, right? And then once you do that, you create this relationship with your womb to where you're consistently checking in, to where you're aligning yourself with your cycle and with the time of the month, either with your menstrual cycle or with the moon, to where you're most supported in releasing the things that are coming up, right? And it becomes so easy. It's not like this big chore that you have to always be cleaning things out. You're just always in tune with the things that are coming up, right? And it's going to make your whole life a lot easier and a lot flowier because your creativity is going to start to flow more. You're going to be more inspired. You're going to be more aligned and focused in creating, right? And creating the life that you want and the life that you desire. The first thing that's so important to do is to learn how to connect with your womb, right? And what we can do is just starting with like a very simple exercise that I'm going to teach you guys on how to connect with your womb space. And that's really the first step, is like opening this line of communication, especially if you haven't had any kind of like relationship with your womb before. And don't feel bad if you haven't, because I didn't even know like what my womb was or where it was for the majority of my life, right? Been doing this work now for a few years, but before that, I had no connection to my womb space. I was super disconnected, and it really blew my mind and changed my life once I started to connect with her and be able to receive that wisdom that is held within. So, super simple exercise that I want you guys to do. And you can do it right now. Just make sure you're sitting nice and comfortable. You can even be laying down for this. I actually normally do this exercise laying down, but if you're sitting, it's cool. Just sit down. So you'll place one hand over your womb space, right? So just imagine your hand like right at the bottom of your belly button, right? Maybe your thumb is in line with your belly button. And then another hand on your heart space, right? Because we want to open our heart as well, and kind of create that connection between the heart and the womb, and get that energy from the lower chakras flowing up to the upper chakras and back, right? Hand on the heart, hand on the womb. And then what I want you to do is go ahead and just take a deep breath in. You can close your eyes and open your mouth, sigh it out. And now as you breathe, I want you to draw your breath down into your womb. And as you inhale, you'll feel your hand just slowly rising with the breath. And as you exhale, you can feel it as it exits the body. So just taking a couple breaths to draw the breath down into the womb space. Beginning with that initial connection to this space. And now as you inhale, begin to imagine the breath as a sparkling white light. And that light travels down into the womb space, illuminating the space, bringing clarity. You might feel like turning the light on in the junk room or shining a light into the junk drawer. That's okay. Just allow this white light to travel down into the womb space with every breath, with every inhale. Now I want you to begin using this simple mantra. As you inhale, repeat to yourself, I love you. And as you exhale, I'm listening. I love you. I'm listening. And just do this for a couple of moments. Every inhale sending love. And every exhale just surrendering, letting go, and being open to hear what your womb has to say. And if you want, you can pause this video and just continue with this breath and this mantra for as long as you'd like. And then as you're ready, you can slowly release the hands, blink the eyes open. So you might be surprised in just doing that simple exercise at the awareness that you already start to build around this space, right? You may even start to receive messages from your womb. You may start to receive ideas or insights or inspiration. And just trust that this is coming from your womb, that this is your womb space speaking to you, right? And allow these things to bring up whatever they bring up. So what I really love to do is to practice this for at least 11 minutes. maybe a little more, maybe a little less if that feels like a lot to start out with. And right after, to have my journal next to me and to at least write an entire page of what comes up. Because a lot of times when we're starting this connection, we might not hear the messages clearly right away. But once we get our pens moving, if you guys have done journaling before, intuitive journaling, it's really powerful. And just at the top of the page, you can just write, dear womb, I love you, I'm listening. And I invite you to just fill the page with writing, and whatever comes up, and it's going to be so powerful. And so this is really the first, most powerful, most important step to connecting to your womb space and to creating that and opening that line of communication between you and your womb so that you can start to recognize what those things are that need to be cleared out, right? It's like until you turn that light on, until you open that junk drawer, you don't know what's in there, right? And it might take a little bit of time to clean that out. It might take some time to get it organized and get it flowing and sparkling clean the way you want it. But be gentle with yourself, because the first step is opening it. The first step is looking at it. It's creating that communication, okay? So more on this definitely coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, I would feel so much appreciation for you to just give me a little comment, let me know what you thought, and please subscribe to this channel. It takes just a moment for you, and it means the world to me. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.